here? We're going to do story time. I couldn't find you anywhere. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? Hi, Mrs. Colby. Well, Francis, what are you doing out here? Well, I was just looking around in the garden. Have you seen the garden? I have seen the garden. I have never, ever. Are those the kids? Yep, those are the kids. Do you want to say hi to them? Yeah. They might want to see the garden. Have you guys ever seen a garden? You won't find one in the library. It's green with flowers. Kids, are you in there? All right. Well, let's show them the garden. Well, the garden, yeah, what's all that water? Well, that is the pool. Have you never seen a pool? No. Well, you can't get in there. You're not supposed to be out here by yourself without me. I can't go swimming? Well, you can try to go swimming with me. I don't know if snails swim or not. But what else have you been doing out here? We don't want to fall in. I want to get in that water sometime. Well, sometime we will get in together, but we're not going to get in today. Hey kids, look at this. They have probably seen, you know what these are? What? These are flowers. This is a geranium in Mrs. Colby's garden. Have you guys seen flowers outside before? Frances, remember, has only lived in the library. She's never been outside. She's gotten to go in the car before. She's never been out here, and you should not be out here by yourself. I know. I'm sorry. I was just looking around. Do you know what else is out here? Snails. Lots of them. Little ones, big ones. You found some friends out here? Yeah. And you know who else was out here with me? Who else came out? Puff. Puff? Puff is out here too? Yeah. She's somewhere back in the bushes back there. Puff is back in the bushes? Yeah. It's super fun out here. If you guys haven't been outside, you should try it sometime. It's really, really, really fun. Well, I think they've been outside. Are you sure? Maybe they have never been outside. Well, all kids have been outside. I guarantee it. Maybe not. I think they have. So, what else did you see? Snails? Rabbits? These things? No, you can't eat those. Why not? They're so pretty. Are they candy? No, they're not candy. They're flowers. They're beautiful. They're supposed to be what you look at. Well, I love them. Well, I think I love them too. There's a lot of stuff. Ooh, I hear something. What is that? It's a bird. What's a bird? Well, they are up in the sky. Hear it? Yeah. Maybe I could make a sound like that. Tweet, 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 tweet. Yes, you could. You could sound just like a bird. Well, I think we're going to have to go in because it's story time. We've got to go read a story. We're reading a story today called Patches Lost and Found, about a little guinea pig that gets lost. That's why you cannot come out here by yourself. He gets lost? Yep, but they find him. And that's why I don't want you out here by yourself. You could get lost. Man, I love it out here. I love crawling in the dirt, getting muddy. I might have to take a bath tonight. Maybe I could take a bath in that big swimming pool. Well, it's not a swimming pool. It's a pool. I mean, it's not a bathtub. It's a pool. Oh, you could soap up in there. That's a great, great big place. Well, I don't think we'll put soap in there. Why don't you tell the kids bye, go up and give them a little kiss, and then we'll go in and read a story. All right. Bye, Puff. All right, let's give them a little kiss. I'm coming in. Put your cheek out. Get ready. Smooch away. See you tomorrow, you guys. Well, see you in for the story in a minute. Bye. Hi, everybody. Good morning. It's Mrs. Colby with Storytime and Puppets today. Today, we are going to read a story called Patches Lost and Found, which is a good story. But I wanted to show you, I don't know at home if you've been going through your bedroom, maybe mom's had you clean in your bedroom or different things in your house, but sometimes when you get in your room and you have all this time to do nothing, sometimes we get into places, I've been cleaning and getting in cupboards and everything, and we run into things that we haven't seen in a while. So, I'm just wondering if you've run into anything, a toy or a game or something that you go, oh my gosh, I totally forgot I had this, because you've had time to kind of dig around and you're probably getting desperate for toys by now and digging out things maybe you haven't played with in a long time. So that's what happened to me. And I wanted to show you these because they're such a great memory and they're so unusual, you can't believe it. My family lives in Michigan. I grew up in Michigan. And we go to the very top of Michigan, into the Upper Peninsula, to Lake Superior, which is freezing cold at all times. But when we go up to that beach and you get out, there's no sand. It is 100% solid rocks. And I want to show you in my basket of rocks right here. It's the most unusual rocks that you've ever seen. I wanted to show you a couple only because I ran across them. They are like perfectly round, like the whole beach is full of these perfectly circular stones. They just feel so good in my hands. We brought some home and I put like a little clear coat on them so they're like shiny and smooth, but they're the most beautiful colors. And look at this one. Doesn't it look just totally like an egg? Looks like a little brown egg you could get at the store. So I was just going to show them to you because when you walk out on that beach and you really start looking at them, there are all these little balls. And how did they get to be perfectly shaped like this? I've never seen rocks like that. Every once in a while, maybe a round one, but here's a couple more great big ones. All colors, all little textures. Every one of them is, well, this isn't round, but like oval. Here's one that's just this smooth, round stone. So anyway, not that you even wanted to know about that, but I ran across my basket and I forgot about all these. They just feel so good in your hands just to rub. I don't know if you've ever heard of a worry stone, but sometimes you can get a stone that has a groove in it. We used to look for those on the beach too. And you can just, when you're worried, you just sit and rub your finger across it and it helps you not to worry. So anyway, there is my basket of beautiful, round, magical stones that were on the beach way up in Michigan at Lake Superior. So that's my little trinket to share with you today. Oh, I don't think you'd want to see some of the things I actually found in my cupboard, so I thought I would share those. All right. Here's our story today called Patches, Lost and Found, and it's written by Stephen Kroll and illustrated by Barry Goff. Do you have a pet? Anybody have a pet at home? This is a guinea pig. Has anybody ever had a guinea pig? Raise your hand if you've had a guinea pig. Or a hamster. Well, they are tricky little guys because you put them in a cage, especially hamsters. Now, maybe not quite so much guinea pigs, but you put them in their cage, and they are masters of getting out through cracks and little doors if you leave them open, and they disappear. And if you've ever lost a hamster in your house, they are tricky to find. So, but this is about a guinea pig, but same kind of situation. I don't know if you've ever had a pet get lost. We have definitely had our hamster get lost. His name was Curly. Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother story. Eek. Jenny loved to draw pictures. She drew pictures of Mom and herself on vacation. She drew pictures of her house and the street where they lived. She drew pictures of her pet guinea pig, Patches. She drew pictures of her school and her teacher, Mr. Griswold. I don't know if you're drawing at home, but that would be a great thing to do. Lots of fun pictures. On Monday, Mr. Griswold announced to the class, your assignment for next Monday is to write a story. You can work on it at school and at home. Could I draw a picture instead, Jenny asked. Mr. Griswold shook his head. Not unless it goes with the words. Words first. All the way home on the bus, Jenny was trying to think of something to write about. Nothing came. Her mind was like an empty sack. Writing had always been very hard for her. And sometimes it is hard for kids to write, to think of what to write. And we have to remember that the best stories come from little tiny seed stories that happen in our everyday life that we can add a lot of detail to. Sometimes we try to think too big. Well, when she got home, Mom asked, how was school? Not so good, said Jenny. I have to write a story. Well, I want to hear more about that, said Mom. But first, I have to tell you, Patches is missing. I went to feed him and his cage door was open. Oh no, said Jenny, my poor guinea pig. Well, let's look for him, said Mom. He must be nearby. They looked under Jenny's bed and in her closet. They looked in Mom's room and all over the house, but no Patches. That would be scary if you really, really lost your pet. I have an idea, said Mom. Why don't you make some posters? We'll put them up and down the neighborhood. Okay, said Jenny. She pulled out paper and crayons. She drew a picture of a big white guinea pig. He had a black patch over one eye and another one on his tail. Under the picture, she wrote Patches and lost and her phone number. That's a good idea. After dinner, Jenny and her mom put up the posters, but by bedtime there was still no Patches. The next morning, he hadn't shown up either. Where could he be? Jenny asked after breakfast. Oh, I'm sure he'll turn up, said Mom. If you look at all those different posters that she made. She hand drew each one. He looks like a cute little guy. Well, Jenny went back to her room. She sketched what could have happened to Patches. She drew him skittering out the back door, and then she drew him hiding under a bush in the garden. She taped the drawings up to her wall. They hadn't looked in the garden. Maybe Patches was there. Jenny went out to check, but he wasn't under any bush. At school, Jason and Allison asked Jenny, Hey, have you thought of a story yet? No, said Jenny miserably. I haven't thought of anything. And look, here are some of the kids on their computers writing their story. These guys are writing on paper. And poor Jenny still hasn't thought of an idea. Sometimes that happens. Mrs. Colby used to call it white paper syndrome in my classroom if kids couldn't think of anything. Just like you're staring at that white piece of paper. You can't think of what your story should be. When Jenny got home that afternoon, she raced into her mom's office. Sorry, Jenny, still no Patches, Mom said. Jenny pulled out paper and crayons. She drew more pictures about what could have happened to him. She drew a picture of a thief stealing Patches and running down the street. She drew another picture of a thief getting on a motorcycle and riding away with Patches. She taped both of those pictures on the wall. Look at her pictures here. I hope a thief didn't steal Patches. That would really be terrible. Wednesday came and went. No word on Patches. And Jenny still didn't have an idea for her story. Any progress? Mr. Griswold asked. Jenny shook her head. At home that night, Jenny finished more drawings. She drew a thief carrying Patches onto a train. She drew a passenger on the train, spying the thief and calling the police. She hung both of those pictures on the wall. On Thursday, Jenny asked Mom if she could stay home from school. She hadn't thought of a story, and she still hadn't found Patches. Okay, said Mom, you do look a little pale. Maybe a little bit of rest will do you good. Jenny stayed in her room. She drew a picture of the police setting out to capture the thief. She drew another picture of the police arresting him, and she taped both of those pictures to the wall. On Friday, Jenny really did feel sick. She had a sore throat and a cough. All day long, she drew more pictures. She drew the police taking the thief to jail. She drew the police captain carrying Patches home to she and her family. She drew a picture of herself and Mom standing in the doorway welcoming Patches home, and she taped all three of those pictures to the wall. Do you feel like Jenny might have a story going that she doesn't even know? Here she's got all these events happening that sound like to me they could come together in a story. Maybe not what really happened to Patches, but a make-believe story. Well, the next day was Saturday, and Jenny didn't have to worry about going to school. As she was finishing breakfast, someone knocked on the door. Mom went to open it. Hi, said Mr. Scooter from down the block. I think I have something for you. He blinked through his thick glasses. In his arm was Patches. Aw, Patches, Jenny shouted. Where did you find him, Mr. Scooter? Under a bush. I didn't see your posters till last night, but by then he'd nibbled down my whole lawn. He's better than a lawnmower. Oh my goodness, said Mom. Oh, thank goodness, said Jenny. And she gave Patches a hug and a squeeze. Later that day, Mom came into Jenny's room. Jenny was cuddling Patches. So, what are you going to do your story about? Jenny shrugged. I can't think of anything. Mom glanced up. Look at all those pictures. They tell a wonderful story. All you have to do is put words under each of the pictures. Mom was right. Jenny found that it was easy to add words now that she had drawn all the pictures. Sometimes that's a good way to do it. You can make a storyboard of pictures of how the story goes and add the words after. Sometimes people work better that way when they get a little storyboard going. Here are all the words that go into her pictures. Once upon a time, Patches escaped from his cage and ran outside. Outside was scary. Patches hid under a bush. A big, bad, mean old thief came and stole him. The thief stuck Patches in his pocket and rode away on his motorcycle. Squeak, squeak, cried Patches. Shut up, yelled the big, bad, mean old thief. He jumped onto a train. Patches kept squeaking. The thief couldn't keep him quiet. One passenger saw them and called the police. The police leaped into their car and raced after the train. They climbed aboard. Stick 'em up, they yelled as they arrested the big, bad, mean old thief. They drove him to jail, and he confessed. The police captain took Patches back to Jenny and her family. They were so happy to see him. Welcome home, Patches. Well, look at all those pictures that she put together into a story. That's pretty cool. That's something you guys could do while you have this time at home. Write a story with pictures first, and then add the words to them. On Monday, Jenny brought her story, Patches Lost and Found, to school, and she read it out loud to her class. Your story's great, said Allison. Congratulations, said Jason. Nice job, said Mr. Griswold. Words first, pictures second. No, said Jenny. Pictures first, words second. You mean you did all the pictures first, said Mr. Griswold. Yes, said Jenny. Well, said Mr. Griswold, you've taught me something. I'd like to meet Patches. Why don't you bring him to school? And then the next page shows the kids with Patches, enjoying Patches out in the grass. So that is a great story to read, Patches Lost and Found. Hopefully you have always found your pet if you've lost him and your hamster. I know sometimes maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe you could write a story today. Do pictures, paste them up on your wall. Well, don't paste them, tape them. And then put the words to go with it. And you'll have a wonderful story. Some of the best stories, she made one up totally out of her head, which is fun to do. But some of the best stories come from our real life. And we think of a tiny little seed story, Mrs. Colby calls it. One tiny little story that you blow up and write a big story about. So that makes it more fun. You can add lots of details, and you can think of something funny, embarrassing, sentimental, sad that's happened in your life, and those make the best stories. So have fun today. Get out some paper and pencil. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.